Hello, my name is Ralph and welcome back to our channel. It's my time, let's go. Well, the time has finally come with all the things that we've done with this 96 motor to get this puppy fired up. So today we're going to go through a few things, get things lined up, get things torqued down, do some checks on it, and then we should be able to fire this puppy up and see how it runs. I feel good about it. I hope you feel good about it. I hope Barry feels good about it. I think this motor is going to run just fine. And with all the work we've done, I see no reason why not to. I've done what I can do to the best of my ability, and that's all I can do. So today will be the big test. So stick with us as we get this thing fired up. We'll loosen up the bottom bolts here. Should allow us to move it back a little bit. Seem to be a little bit forward. We need to line the drive chain up with the sprocket we're putting on the engine. And we want it pretty straight because we don't want any tension on it sideways so that the chain would try to walk off it. Almost there. Just a slight bit more. By having the thing adjustable, we can put different kinds of motors on here and line this up with it. Built these extra braces on this side here to hopefully strengthen it up a little bit. I found sometimes when you were firing a motor up, it would tend to want to make the whole stand flex that way. So while I was redesigning it, I put these extra braces on, and we'll see if they help as we go. Loosen this off so that we can lift this up to put our chain in place. See if we can go down just one tooth. So now we'll put our little shim lock in here. I put the lock in. Should lock this up so that we can torque this nut on. There. Torque that up to 100 pounds. It's plenty to hold that. Also make sure that our transmission nut is tight on there. Left-hand thread. There we go. We'll get our lock out. There we go. So, let's start to get some of our lines unhooked here. A little check ball out. There we go. go. Got oil running all the way down in there. Now I've just got the tops on here very loose, so I'm just going to take them off so I can have a look when we start to run oil up through it. Got to do that. We still have to set the timing. So there's a bunch of things that have to be done yet. We haven't got the gas hooked up now, but right now I'm going to run some oil through it and make sure that everything's turning over the way it should. I turned everything over slowly so there was no noises, no clicking, no clacking, no banging, no nothing. Now we're just going to wind it over a few times and try to get some oil pressure built up. So we'll give it a couple quick. Everything seems to be good there. My oil pressure is slowly building up, but it won't really build up until I get some plugs in it and stuff and build up some compression. But I got 10-15 pounds in there starting. Not enough to get it through the whole system yet, but we're going to try to do a little bit more. Great, and we've got oil filling this line up now. This is this one here. This is our return line back, which is going right up to the filter, and our filter is empty there, so it's going to take a little bit to fill it up. I should have topped it up to start with, but everything seems to be turning over good. We've got oil where we should have it. It's returning back. We can see that returning back through the system now. And flushing out, it's a little bit dark, so it's actually flushing out any kind of oil that's in the motor and getting that out of it. So now we got to set the timing on it and put some fuel in it. And I think everything seems to be good and solid here. We'll put our guard on before we fire it up, but we should be about ready to go, I hope. So we're just looking in there to check and get our top dead center on the front cylinder so we can set up our down ignition timing and get that set properly. So we're going to do that. All that's left to do now is put our shield on for safety purposes. Well, we're down to the last few things now. Just going to put some oil in the oil filter here so it doesn't take so long for it to fill up. There we go. All right. Get some there. All right, you got flow. Okay, check everything, make sure there's no gas leaks anywhere on anything. We cleaned the carb and such, so the overflow line is there so we can see it, but we're not getting any overflow, so it looks good to go. Two out of the safe setting, 1.5 inches, 1 3/4 there. We seem to have everything in place here. Our gas is flowing. We got no leaks anywhere. It's all looking pretty good. So next step is going to be to fire it up and run it for a minute, let it cool down completely. We'll fire it up again, run it for a minute, let it cool down. Just do cycle the engine to start with to let things break in. So when he puts it in the bike, you'll just be able to bolt it in there and it'll be good to go. Hopefully. It's always a bit of a tense moment when you go to do this, but having the stand sure makes it a lot better than having it in the bike and then developing a problem when you're there. Not that I think I'm going to have a problem, but I know that if you put it in the bike and the gas tank's on and all that sort of stuff, and for whatever reason you have a problem, then it's a bit of a pain in the ass to try to get it all out. So this little stand just makes it well worth it. So we'll get back to you when we're ready to fire it up. So we're going to put a new set of plugs in today, so we're going to gap those at like 38. Just to make sure. I don't know how long the old plugs were in there, but being she's brand new, we'll put a new set in just to be sure. And before we install these, we'll cover the threads with Never Seez so that they don't gall up on the aluminum in there. Just another sort of safety precaution. Got the motor all ready to go. I've got the fuel run in it. I've checked and made sure that I've got fuel in here. We're going to choke it a little bit to start with, although I don't think I'll need it. And everything seems to be ready to go. So we're going to crank it over and see what happens. Turn the fuel on.
Well, that sounded all right there.
Yep. The idles are way down on it, but so now I'm just going to let it cool, and then we'll run it again. That sounded okay though.
Yeah.
Sounded good. Nice and quiet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Had a nice.
Yeah. Well, she's meaty sounding. Yeah. So it sounds really good. So we got the first little flurry of it going there. We're going to cycle it a few times. Just do what you got to do to break it in. You know, fire it up, run it for like a minute at 1500 RPM. Don't be jamming it or revving it. Let the motor cool completely down. We're going to fire it up, do it again, let it cool completely down, and then maybe we'll fire it up for 2 or 3 minutes, which seems like a long time running on the stand, but we'll do that just to make sure that everything's the way it should be. By covering up the exhaust pipes while it's running, I'm able to listen to the motor and hear any kinds of ticks or noises or anything that are in it. And at this point on the first run, it seems really quiet. We're running 40 pounds oil pressure in it, which is good, and I'm pretty pleased with it after coming this far. So it looks good, and I got a smile on my face today so far. So keep your fingers crossed. We'll go through the cycling, and then she'll be ready to go in the bike. that should do it. Let's cycle through a few times. Sorry on the machine here, everything starts shaking when you get it down to below, and she's a pretty meaty motor, but that should do it good. So next thing we do, get ready to pick it up and get it in the bike and get it on the road.